Hey guys, Parfax here, and today we're asking the question, should you come back to New World? Is it time? All right, let's get started. So, it's to no surprise to you or anybody that New World hasn't had the smoothest first year. At the beginning, there were a ton of bugs, exploits, dupes, and very little quality of life features. And since the game's launch, New World has lost players almost every month but April. But even then, we had a big update with the Blunderbuss, we had a new Tempest dungeon, and a free weekend. And if you go look at it, the numbers really didn't change. If you look at the Steam charts, it says there was green to where it went up, but if you look at the average player base, it was pretty much the same. So we really didn't gain any members at that time. Now, I will start off saying that I've played New World pretty much since launch, only stopping to play that other MMO that is definitely not pay to win. I'm talking to you, Lost Ark. So I've seen New World's ups and downs, and where I can't cover everything that changed with the game, because let me tell you, it's a lot, I will try to help you understand why people are actually coming back and staying to New World. First, I want to talk about why people left. The main reason people left were first and foremost exploits. Nobody wants to play a game where people can just get ahead by cheating or gaming the system. It's part of the reason that we hate pay to win so much. We feel that it's almost cheating to other players who can't or are not willing to pay for an advantage. This is something that the West really deals with more than over East, but whether it's exploits or bugs or people paying themselves for an advantage, we want to feel like we're on an even playing field. We want to feel like our time is justified and not just have somebody who doesn't play as much or are willing to exploit to get an advantage. Next, leveling sucked. Most people quit in their 30s at the very start because it was basically do the same thing over and over for hours, and it was tedious and boring. Then if you got to endgame, you either found that there was not enough to do or gearing was absolutely horrible. I know there are more things than just these that made players leave, but these are the biggest ones. So let's first talk about exploits. As we know, there seemed to be an exploit every week at launch, whether it was duping, invulnerability iframes, killing the same boss in dungeons over and over again, or many of the other ones. There hasn't been a duping exploit in months, and the last one got every person caught, at least to my knowledge, permanently banned. Since launch, this has been a spot Amazon has really put their foot down in truly banning people for any form of duping. Now, when it comes to exploits, aside from maybe a few mislabeled boss drops or a few minor bugs, there hasn't been any bad exploits in months. Now, what we can consider to be exploits is very opinionated. People consider anything that is at all outside of what the game is intended, but sometimes you don't know what the game is intended. Some people just call them bugs, exploits, but all the big exploits like the invulnerability iframes, killing the bosses over and over and over again, those, I haven't seen one of those in a very long time. And this is something AGS has really started to improve on. AGS, or Amazon Game Studios, has a very big staff, but it seems they didn't have a ton of experience when it came to making MMOs. So they went through some growing pains that they shouldn't have had, but because they're very inexperienced, they had to go through them. Now, do I think that all these growing pains are gone? No. But they have shown such significant improvement here. They put stuff on the PTR longer, and they do a lot more testing with their updates and stuff like that before they put them out, because they understand that that was part of the reason that it was killing their game. Now, let's talk about leveling. Since launch, New World has put an effort to make leveling faster and smoother. They've added in dynamic events, more gearing drops, double XP weekends every now and again, quests are more streamlined, and other quality of life features towards leveling. They have made such an effort in this category. I am convinced they are doing it for more than just letting returning or new players level faster, but that's another topic for another video. Now, the fastest way to level is still through town boards, which is, I know, pretty daunting and tedious, but doing this is something I only suggest for players that are okay with getting to 60 being broke and with no gear. So I really suggest other methods like questing and mob grinding. There are a few improvements that need to be made in this category, but as someone who recently leveled a character on a double XP weekend from level 10 to 60 solo with absolutely no help, I can tell you that it's a lot better. I'll put a link in the description down below if you want to see that video. It's a pretty good one. Now, like I said, it was on a double XP weekend, but just note that it'll probably take you about double the time if you're not doing a double XP weekend. But like I said, I suggest you taking your time to level and really enjoying it. So when talking about endgame, this could be just a 50-minute video talking about it by itself. But Amazon has added quite a few endgame features since launch. First off, they added 2 brand new endgame dungeons, or should I say the second one is coming out hopefully this weekend or this week sometime, please. And man, if you haven't seen the drops in those, go check out the video in the description. That video is pretty crazy. Those drops in there are pretty nuts. They have also added mutations to 5 of the dungeons, and 6 once we get the new one. It will typically, I think they said, come out a couple weeks after the dungeon comes out. They will add a mutation to it. And if you don't know what this is, it's just a new system where they take dungeons and make them harder with a lot better loot and adding different mods to them. It is similar to a PoE mapping system, or kind of similar to like Diablo Rifts. They even have the laser beams from D3 in some of these dungeons, so you can look forward to seeing those. These are some of the best ways to get loot in New World, and I've said it for a while, but Mutation 10s, which are the hardest content, at least PvE wise, are the most rewarding content to play right now. They give so much loot, they give legendary items, they give umbral shards, which you use to upgrade your gear, they give coins, they give other items that you can sell for coins. They are absolutely a great addition to any PvE gamer out there. For PvP, they've also added 3v3 arenas, which this is just your typical arena where you can solo, duo, or go in as a pre-made 3-man and fight to the death with another team. It's a best of 5. There are a ton of fun to be had there, and I really suggest you get in there and try them. They also buffed forts, so at least on my server, fort capping PvP is by far the best PvP in the game. There are wars and OPRs as well, but this is by far, in my opinion, the most fun you can have comes to PvP in New World. It's some of the funnest PvP that I've ever played. It is an absolute blast. It is so much fun. I actually made a video on it, again in the description down below. We will put it down there, so please go check it out if you're interested at all in that type of fort fighting. Now we're going to talk about the topic I am most passionate about, and that is gearing. As someone who has struggled through every aspect of gearing in this game, I understand just how better the game has gotten in this category. It's still not the best, and its expertise system isn't my favorite, but if you know what you're doing, it doesn't take long to get to 600 anymore. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, essentially, once you get to 60, your expertise will be 500. Then you have to find drops that can drop up to 10 gear score higher than what your level is. It's actually, I think, lower than that, but I have gotten 10 on my new character. And when you get that, if you go from 500, you get a weapon that's 510. You can then get an item that is 510. That is what your expertise is. So you can get an item up to 520. Now, it doesn't typically go 10. It's probably 2 to 5 is probably your average. But essentially, once you get to 600, then your expertise system has essentially stopped, and then you have to use umbral shards, which I talked about mutators. But again, we could do a whole video on that as well. But they have added so many different ways to get gearing bumps. And those have been your gypsum system. They've added a bunch of different ways by just doing everything in the game that will give you these orbs that can give you guaranteed bumps. They've also added the ability to do dungeons over and over again. Since we don't have an orb system now, you can spam dungeons, and those give absolutely crazy amount of drops. And they've just added better drops throughout the world and have a higher chance of expertise drops. You can level through PvP. You can level through PvE. You can basically level however you want. Now, spamming dungeons over and over again are by far the fastest way to do it, but I know many people, or at least a few people, that have leveled specifically through PvP only, so you can do pretty much what you want. And there is a new PvP track system that helps you in the gearing category as well. It kind of gives you a great baseline for your gear, and it gives you a lot of things to even give you expertise bumps. It gives you coins. Basically, New World is going more streamlined to where if you want to PvP and get your gear, you can do it. If you want to PvE to get your PvE gear, you can do it. You basically can just play the way you want and get the gear. Now, is it going to be optimal to do it one way or the other? Of course, it's going to be optimal no matter what you're doing. You're going to find games where this is optimal over this. And for PvP, it is still more optimal for the most part to at least get your expertise by doing PvE. But once you get your expertise up to 600, basically you can PvP the rest of the way and you don't have to worry about PvE as much. Now, you'll still get better gear doing PvE sometimes, but that's a video for another day. They even made the perks on items drop better quality and crafted ones as well, making the prices of really crazy good gear drop in price and making it more accessible to way more people now. Having said all this, we still have the big expansion coming this fall, Brimstone Sands. We can even see the zone on the public test realm, and even though we can't go into it, we can see that it is absolutely massive. So there's no better time to get in and get ready for that update than right now. And did I mention the freaking greatsword is coming out as well? Holy crap, I cannot wait for that weapon. New World has had its problems, but it has come such a long way in such a small period of time, and it isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Without making this video an hour long, just note that I didn't even touch on what seems to be the infinite amount of quality of life tweaks they've made, from making the searching on the trading posts just infinitely better, to the storage overhaul, to making housing taxes cheaper, to the countless number of improvements they have made since launch. So, if you're looking for anything greatsword, go ahead and subscribe, because I will be the greatsword gamer. Anything you want to know about the greatsword, I will be covering it. I absolutely love the greatsword. It's probably my favorite weapon in almost any game ever. The scythe is up there a little bit, but I don't get a chance to play that often. Not many games have it, so it's probably going to be the greatsword. So if you're looking for anything greatsword related, subscribe. If you're looking for anything New World related, subscribe. If you like this video, hit the like button. Of course, always comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you're excited about the greatsword. Let me know if this video maybe makes you think about coming back to the game, because honestly, I know New World gets a bad rap from a lot of players that don't play it. If you see all the people, talking trash about it, that's because they don't play it. Now, some people, obviously, no matter what game you're playing, are going to talk bad about a game. But New World is just infinitely better than when it launched. The game is ready for the new players to come back in. It has already started to get those players, and those players are staying. So make sure you get in now. Get in. We have a new summer event going on right now. It can give you crazy amounts of coins every day. It is a great time to get back into the game. So make sure you get in and start leveling up and getting your characters where you need them to be. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, like always. And I'm on the Dorato server under the name Sirparfax. So if you ever get a chance and you want to just hit me up, go ahead and hit me up. I am great to, I can talk. I'm in a guild called Wakanda. If you're possibly looking for a guild and on the Marauders faction, hit me up, especially if you're a healer. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We're looking for healers, but we're looking for people to play with. I play with a bunch of people every day. I do dungeons. I do a ton of PvP. I mainly do PvP, but if you're on the server, go ahead and hit me up. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, like always, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.